All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving deep today into enterprise crowdsourcing. It's a fascinating topic. I've been looking into it.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that more and more companies are starting to pay attention to.
Yeah.
You know, basically, it's about how to tap into
Right.
the collective brain power of your own company
Right.
to spark innovation. And, you know, it's not just words.
Yeah.
A trendy buzzword. You know, there's some real data behind this.
Yeah.
There was a study, I think by Forrester, that said companies that use crowdsourcing see something like 60% more high-impact ideas. So we're not talking about like little incremental improvements here.
Right.
You're talking about game changers, like big ideas that can really move the needle. So I guess the big question is, you know, could your next big breakthrough be hiding somewhere in your company right now?
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about this is that, you know, for so long, we've relied on these traditional innovation models. You've got your executives, you've got your R&D teams, maybe you bring in some outside consultants.
Right.
But what about the insights of the people on the front lines, the people who are actually dealing with customers every day, or the engineers who are seeing, you know, firsthand where the processes are breaking down?
Yeah, that's such a good point. Because it's like you're trying to solve a puzzle, but you're only using like half the pieces.
Exactly. So
okay. So crowdsourcing. How does this actually work in practice? Are we talking about like suggestion boxes 2.0 here, or free committer? What's the deal?
It's a little more sophisticated than that. I mean, there are definitely platforms out there that are kind of like digital suggestion boxes on steroids. But, you know, companies are using these platforms to manage the entire flow of ideas. So from capturing those initial smarts to refining them, to getting feedback, to even voting on them. There's a company called IdeaScale, which a lot of people are familiar with. And basically what IdeaScale does is it gives companies a way to tap into the ideas of
all of their employees.
And, you know, some companies use it to run targeted idea campaigns. So like maybe they'll have a challenge to improve a specific product or service or to come up with new ways to engage customers. So you're not just hoping that great ideas bubble up randomly. You're actually creating a structured way to gather and nurture them.
Okay, I see. So that makes sense. But you know, one thing I'm wondering is, you open this up to everybody. Yeah. Don't you run the risk of getting flooded with, you know, just like a ton of ideas that aren't really that great?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a valid concern. And that's why it's so important to have a solid strategy in place. I mean, you don't want to just like throw ideas into a black hole.
Right. So CIOs are implementing frameworks that encourage quality over quantity. So you might have initial screening stages where you weed out some of the ideas that aren't really viable. You might have peer review processes where people can give feedback on each other's ideas. And a lot of these platforms, like IdeaScale, have built-in mechanisms to help manage this whole process. So, you know, they have voting systems so you can surface the most promising ideas. They have tools for providing constructive feedback. So there's a real system for evaluating and developing these ideas.
That makes sense. So it's not just about having a free-for-all.
Right.
It's about having a structured way to make sure that the best ideas rise to the top.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's talk about buy-in. I mean, how do you actually get people to participate in this? Because, you know, you can set up the platform, you can have all the right tools in place.
But if people aren't actually motivated to share their ideas, it's not going to work.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And this is where the technology is only part of the equation. It's really about fostering a culture of open communication and recognizing the value of diverse perspectives. You know, some companies use gamification elements to kind of make it fun and engaging. So like leaderboards or badges. Other companies tie it into professional development. So, you know, employees have a chance to showcase their problem-solving skills and maybe even lead projects based on their ideas.
Yeah, because I think people need to feel like their ideas are actually going to be taken seriously. You know, it can't just be like one more thing that they have to do. It has to be a genuine opportunity to make a difference.
Yeah, I think that's really key. You know, people need to feel empowered to contribute, and they need to know that their voices are being heard.
Okay, so we've talked about how crowdsourcing works. We've talked about how to get people to participate. But I guess the big question is, does it actually work? I mean, are companies really seeing those high-impact ideas that Forrester was talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are countless examples of companies that have used crowdsourcing to, you know, come up with
breakthrough products and services to improve their operations, to solve really complex problems.
And I think one of the most compelling things about crowdsourcing is that it allows you to tap into
Yeah.
a wealth of knowledge and creativity that you might not even know you have. I mean, think about it. What if the solution to your company's biggest challenge is already sitting in the mind of one of your employees, just waiting to be shared?
Wow. That's a powerful thought. And
Yeah.
to realize that maybe the key to innovation isn't about hiring more geniuses or spending millions of dollars on R&D.
Right.
Maybe it's as simple as creating the right environment
Right.
for your existing team to shine. And crowdsourcing can definitely be a part of that.
Absolutely.
So that is
Yeah.
something for all of us to consider.
Right.
How can we unlock the potential that's already within our organizations?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, that's our deep dive on enterprise crowdsourcing. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.